Your party leader said in a very recent interview on NTV on Sunday that he will support President William Ruto until 2027. Is that a party position?
Yeah, unfortunately, the position of a party on coalitions is given by the party leader. So what he says is the position of a party. And for me, really, as SG of ODM, my worry is that if you stick with the current government until 2027, then you really don't have the time to be able to prepare the party for elections. So, for instance, if we get to 2027 and we decide as a party that we also want to contest the presidency, because the stated position of the party is that we will have a presidential candidate in 27, then we have not left ourselves room to be able to prepare for that elections. Preparation for elections do take time. And then the worry would be that we would have lost that opportunity to be able to not only extricate ourselves from this very unpopular regime, but also to be able to explain to the people what we've been doing with Ruto all these years and why we are back to ask for the mandate of the people.
So this is an ODM party position?
That would be the ODM party position, yes.
And that includes you as Secretary General? Yeah,
that includes me. But as I've said publicly, the good thing with ODM is that we are allowed to file objections to the positions that are taken by the party. You are allowed to sound warnings, to sound alarms, and to say that in your view, the way you read the lay of the land, we need to be able to have sufficient time to explain to the people not only what we have been doing with Ruto, but what we intend to do for the country if we are to present a candidate in 2027. My position has always been, and this is a position that we've shared with many in the party, that ODM stands a very good chance to win the elections in 27, and that we have good people in this party who can be able to run the country, and that ODM has always been a force for good, and that we believe that we will do a better job than the current regime. So I don't understand those within our ranks who don't see us as a party as a viable option to the Kenya Kwanza government, who want us to yoke ourselves to KK even beyond 2027, and they've been pronouncing it in public spaces, much to the chagrin of many of us in the ODM party.
So if this is a party position that you don't agree with.
Yeah.
In the last few minutes, you've talked about this being an unpopular regime.
Yes.
One in which you're in a working arrangement with.
Absolutely.
You've talked about yoking yourself, with this regime that you term as unpopular.
Yeah.
And as Secretary General of ODM that is in an arrangement with this, and you as Secretary General disagreeing with the party position, what do you then do as a person?
You can just ask me why I won't resign, Yvonne. Don't be shy. You know, you and me started this thing way back. I was telling you before we started, the first time I was on TV was with you. The reason I will not resign yet is because I've not given up yet. I have not given up on members of ODM, because ODM is a mass movement, Yvonne. ODM has a followership, a registered membership of over 5 million people. And when you speak to a majority of those people, there is still belief and trust within the ranks of the party that Baba knows what is right for the people, that he will do the right thing, and that the vast majority of the members of the party believe in themselves and in their ability to pull this train back on its tracks. You will listen to what we in Parliament say, but ODM has a total complement of about 106 elected members of Parliament. Compare that to the 5 million in the grassroots there who have given support to this political party for years. Secondly, many of us, like I personally, speaking as SIFUNA, I have known one political leader all my life. I tell the story of how I became interested in politics in 2002. I was at the university. We were the kids who were singing Yote Yawezekana Bila Moi. I have not listened to another political leader, including those ones who ran around from Ushago. I have listened to Raila Odinga all these years. And ODM as an institution, Yvonne, has existed for 20 years. It takes a lot of blood and sweat and pain to build an institution the size of ODM and to have that longevity for all that time. You cannot just give up and say you are going to quit on all that membership. But I want to say here that on the day that I give up, I will tell you, I will say it publicly that I have lost the battle to rescue this party and to bring it back to where it was. And we will have lost collectively as members of ODM, because I cannot do this thing on myself or on my own. So the day I give up, I will let the country know that I tried my best, but I lost that battle, and then we will take decisions from there.
Is ODM headed in the right direction with the current arrangement and the current status?
Let's just say that there's a lot of confusion. I have told my party leader that there was a time when it was very easy to be SG of ODM. You would wake me up in the middle of the night and ask me anything, because what we agreed is that you can compromise on tactics, but you can never compromise on your values. There is things that ODM stands for. If you woke me up in the middle of the night and asked me my position on devolution, my position on rights under Article 37, for instance, I would give you an answer straight away. But right now, there is a lot of confusion, because I come to these shows and to the media and in those public barazas, and I struggle to explain that we're the same political party. Then you will see a member of ODM who maybe used to hold a premier position, now is a cabinet secretary, say the exact same opposite. It leaves our support very, very confused. And I want to apologize to members of ODM today for all the confusion we as a leadership have caused, because it is very difficult now to discern the position of ODM on major issues. And that is the biggest sadness, because it should be easy. It should be easy. When a member of ODM proposes a bill saying, oh, we want to limit the rights under Article 37, what is ODM without Article 37? What is ODM without street protests? What is ODM? ODM is a movement that has been built on the strength of the people. So you cannot be the ones telling us today that, oh, you are sponsoring a bill to limit the rights under Article 37. We swore to this constitution. And that is where confusion comes in for people like me, because I now can no longer pronounce myself authoritatively on the position of a party when it comes to the rights under Article 37. You know? And that is where the difficulty begins.
So you say it's confused. You yourself cannot articulate the values and the position of the party.
Correct.
As Secretary General.
Because that position is difficult to discern when we don't have a unified position we are all speaking from as members of a party. It is essentially the Wild West now. Everybody is just doing what they want. Somebody will wake up, they are elected on ODM, they say, oh, they are forgotten. They're forgotten that Raila Odinga is still the leader of the party. They're forgotten that ODM still exists to fight for political power. You are already supporting a third party for re-election. Why do we exist as a political party if you're going to shout the slogans of other political parties?
So, Senator, if as Secretary General you feel this strongly about the party that you lead in position of Secretary General, in other democracies, Senator, you would resign.
That's what I'm telling you. I have not given up.
You still think there is hope?
I also believe in my own power of persuasion, even within the party, to be able to pull the train back on its tracks. And I've told you, it will be very difficult for me to abandon all those 5 million people who believe that the leadership of the party will do what is right when the time comes. So until we cross that bridge, when we reach that bridge, I am a very forthright and open person. I will let the public know that I have done my best, but I've been unable to convince the party that the path that we have taken is not the right path.
Well, let's speak about that power of persuasion, because structurally, as the Secretary General of a party, that role is a platform of advice and perhaps direction.
Absolutely.
Right? Upwards, downwards.
Absolutely.
Sometimes both ways. Have you lost that power of persuasion in the party when we see the party leader saying something different from you? The party chair says something different. You yourself are expressing shock and dismay at a proposal of a bill by one of your own members. So what kind of advice have you ever provided to the party leader? Let's speak particularly with regards to this current...
Decisions of ODM are made in a collegiate manner. Like, you will have a meeting, and in that meeting, of course, not everybody will see the things or everything from the same perspective. So I will give my perspective, and majority or more of the people that are present in that room will give a different perspective. That is not to mean that I have lost my power of persuasion, because there are fights that I have won in that political party.
Because it doesn't seem like you're winning any battles in your party.
Lately, there are not too many.
Right.
Lately, there are not too many. Like, I am on record having advised a party against doing this MOU with UDA.
And they still went ahead.
We still went ahead and entered that MOU. But you see, the beauty is that you are proven right every day. I warned that the problem with doing a formal MOU with UDA is that it didn't matter what the MOU said. The people from UDA, the government, William Ruto, is not interested in the details of the MOU. And that is why he gets upset when I remind him what the MOU said, you know. They wanted a document that they could then go and, run a PR campaign around and say, oh, tumeungana, we are together. That is not what this document says. This document does not establish a coalition agreement between ODM and UDA. But that's the impression they've been creating. They go out there and say, and I had warned that the PR disaster that was going to come from this was going to be something that was going to be very difficult to manage. Unfortunately, the foremost PR officer for the party is the SG. And that is where I'm saying there's difficulty that has come from this. Recently, we had another meeting, and there was a proposal to have a team to review the implementation of this MOU. I have asked respectfully that I be left out of that team because I have already declared this MOU dead. I have already done so publicly. So there is no point. I'm not a mortician. There's no point of me going to go through a document that I've already declared dead. And the reason I declared this MOU dead is because the initial argument for entering into this MOU was twofold. First of all, it was for the sustenance of life. For the sustenance of life, that we were losing people unnecessarily. That can we all agree that this is not something we need to continue doing? We need to stop killing our people. That was the first argument. The second argument was the sustenance of the democratic state. So Ruto is getting his end of the bargain because the democratic state is being sustained at least until 2027. But our people are not getting there. They're still being killed. So on the day that Albert Ojwang dies in a police cell, to me, this agreement is dead because it doesn't matter what else you do, Albert will not be able to enjoy that.
Okay.
You know?